we left off sewing the body for the ears. Next, we're going to do the tufts of hair on the inside of the ears. Let's see. I'm going to show you how to cut fur in a way that it doesn't shed. If you notice, this is pretty much me taking the fur out of the bag from when I purchased it. It's shedding everywhere. Whoever cut this to ship it to me cut it across the fur, and so when you cut the fur, of course, the fur is going to shed. If you want to cut the fur with as little shedding as possible, what you do is you cut the backing fabric. You only cut the fabric and you don't cut the hair. Okay, so the shape of the tufts of hair inside the ear is basically an oval, and you're going to cut 4 of them. Since I pre-cut these out, basically I'm just going to show you how to do one. So you draw the shape, and make sure also when you're drawing the shape that this shape it follows the flow of the fur. So I would actually want this to go this way, but it's easier to cut from the short end. So tiny thread snips or like really pointy scissors will help. Just cut a tiny hole, and then keeping the blade as close to the fabric as possible, you're going to try and cut only the fabric. So we're going to go into fast forward because this is actually going to take a while. Okay, so we're all done, and now I'm going to show you how it turned out. If you notice, the edges of your fur are really nice and clean, and there's like, that's all you're shedding right there, all of it. Okay, maybe a little more, but not nearly the amount as you see, like even on the piece that I got. So the other thing I have to do for these ears, the tufts, is to gradient dye it, because the character I'm doing these ears for has brown fur at the top of the tuft, and then it fades to yellow at the bottom. So instead of using 2 different colors of fur and then having to do a little gradient dye between that might not even match, I'm going to use wig dye. So what you need for wig dye is well, you need Sharpie and 70% alcohol. Probably about 2 or 3 Sharpies will do. Basically just pour about 3/4 of a bottle full of alcohol, and then gut the cores out of the full-size Sharpies in the color that you need. There's lots of tutorials on that. And the other thing you need is this neat little comb. You can get these at Sally Beauty Supply or any beauty supply store. They're really good for blending. You also want to have latex or plastic gloves of some sort, because if not, you're going to have wonderful colored fingers. So we're going to dye. Alright. There we go. Paper's just for neatness. I don't want to stain my cutting board. Basically what you just want to do is spray and comb, and you're going to layer the color. Usually really good furs are dense. So, and I'm just kind of doing this. I just figured out how to do this recently, so excuse me if I'm kind of inconsistent in my technique. But basically you're just spraying and combing. You part if you want more dense color in an area. Oh, I forgot, you're gonna need a blow dryer. Because after you put down a layer of color, you're gonna do this in layers. You have to blow dry it to set it. Also, for making Sharpie dye, there's different kinds of dye too. When I dye my wigs, I actually use Katie Bear's Petting Zoo wig dye. It's really good stuff. I highly recommend it. And it's not exactly Sharpie dye. It's slightly better than Sharpie dye. It is kind of expensive, but it's definitely worth the cost. It comes in a kit, so you get like a comb, you get gloves, you get instructions, and if you have any questions, you can actually go on her website and she'll help you out. So, alright, that's all for that. Now, you want to do that for each one of these pieces. Remember, you have 4 pieces for this particular character. Blow dryer. Just had it. Just had it. Oh, here it is. Silly me, I put it away. Alright. So let's plug this baby up. Make sure it's not on. I've scared myself in the cats many a time. Handy dandy extension cord. Alright. Now you want to have this on low, because blow dryers get pretty hot, and just like some wigs, if it's not, you know, certified heat safe, then it'll melt the fiber. So you warm it up a little bit, comb, comb, comb. When you're combing, also comb gently. You don't want to really mess up the texture of your fur by overdoing it. Okay, that's definitely what you don't want to do. Okay. I'm a dork. Please excuse me. Alright. And if you notice, we have a nice fade of brown to yellow. But I kind of want the brown a little deeper towards the top, so I'm going to put on one more layer of color and blow dry it. coming in a little too hard there. Okay. 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 Now I'm not sure if the camera is catching this as nicely as it actually is showing up for me. This is a really nice fade. So it's a nice deep net brown down here, and it fades out to caramel, and then there's the bright yellow at the end. So you do all of these and you sew them both together. You can either put them together right sides out and ladder stitch or slip stitch them together, or you could tuck all the fur in, but make sure it's nice and dry so you don't mess up your dye job. And then you could do it inside out like a pillow. And then flip it inside out. Make sure you don't sew it all the way shut or you're not going to be able to flip it inside out. Okay. So after you make your ear tuft pillows, you hot glue them to the inside of the ear. So, got some sewing to do. I'll be back. Okay, so, wow. Here's one of the ears. The ear pillow has been made. It's nice on both sides. And if you want to have it glued in the same way I glued it in, I basically put a curve of hot glue right in here and then I just slapped it down. I literally just pressed it right in there. And then you curve this generally in the shape of an ear. And you can get a preview of how it looks. It's a very nice ear. And you could fold it in different shapes. You know, you can perk them up a little bit, or you could roll it down and make them more elfin, but very nice ears. So now we're going to show you, I know I said I wasn't going to mount them directly to the wig, but I just got my wig in like literally yesterday and I had no idea how heavy this thing was. So factoring that in, still have my gloves on. Factoring that in, I'm going to show you both methods. For lightweight wigs, you definitely want to mount the ears to a headband, especially if you plan on reusing the wig for something else. But if you have a really heavy wig, you can actually attach the ears into the wig to help hold it in place, because the way you attach it, it will curve around your ears and like actually grip onto your ears. So that provides it some extra purchase. Because heavy wigs tend to slip back. If you have ever worn a wig with a heavy ponytail on the back, you know what I'm talking about. what you're going to need is a headband. And make sure this headband is fairly sturdy. Like, play with it and stretch it about as far as it'll go to see about how much, you know, how much this can take. Because I've snapped a couple of headbands making wigs, and it's a pain in the butt to take the ears off and put them on another headband. You're going to need some foam. Upholstery foam is good. You can also use foamies, but upholstery foam is probably the best. And this is for padding. Ears can get really heavy, and if you're going to be wearing them for 6 to 8 hours like people typically do with their cosplays at conventions, you start getting that headband headache, if you know what I'm talking about. So this is a very lovely addition to any headband. You're going to need some heavy thread and your blunt needle, and you're also going to need a push drill. To mark out where your ears are going to go, you're going to need a mirror and a Sharpie. So, I need a wig head. I'll just use my manly wig head. Mirror you. Okay, this is my manly wig head. I actually use the man size because the girl size is probably about the size of a child's head. The man size is actually the size of an average woman's head. So, I have this covered up because when you're styling a really girly hairstyle on a man wig, this wig looks really frightening. So, oh, the other bonus is the man wig head has ears. So you definitely want to do this on your own head, but I'm just showing you on this guy as a reference. So you're going to put the wig head on your head. I mean the headband. I can't talk today. You're going to put the headband on your head behind your ears. This is a little more awkward than I anticipated. And where'd my Sharpie go? Once again, I defy the laws of physics. Okay, so you're going to mark off just behind your ear, like, okay, you're going to mark off the top point of your ear because it's probably easier to do. And you're going to mark off probably, I don't know, what's this, a ½ inch south of that, and another ½ inch. And these are basically going to be the lines where you're going to be punching holes in this thing. Now, let me make sure that I'm not wasting a headband, and this is probably erg. You can't see what I'm doing, but I'm basically doing what I just showed you, but I'm doing it on my own head. Okay, my ears actually come right about here. So I would be marking here, here, and dangerously close to the bottom. So I might woe that up a little bit. You want to leave at least a ½ inch down between the last line and the tip of the headband, because if you punch too low, it actually makes the hole really weak. So, of course, you're going to mirror that on the other side. Or, you know, if your ears are unbalanced, some people's ears are not in the same place. Hey, we're all human. We have weird heads.